Hello everyone. Hi. I know I'm a minute late and I'm so sorry. I'm going to try my lights because I am told that if you put light on, then you look like, fancier. I don't know. Then you get your stage lights on and you look better. So let's try that while you're all coming on here. Find some stage lighting. See if it helps. I don't know. It's Saturday morning. I mean, how much help can the lights give you, really? But I am so glad you're all coming on. Hi, Donna. Welcome. I am a couple minutes late, so again, I have to apologize. I had good intentions. I even got up early because I'm always just scrambling. Oh, dear. I'm always scrambling to get here on time because I have so many ideas going on in here, and then I just start getting organized and I think, oh, I should do that too, and I should do that too, and then, oh shoot, and I forgot my computer. I wanted to log on to Facebook. I'm going to just holler at my daughter for 1 minute. Hold on and see if she can bring my computer to me. Stay tuned. I'll be right back. I'm back. For you that are just joining, you probably didn't even know where I went, but I forgot to bring my computer so that I can see all of your comments while we go along here. So I am just going to get on my computer here, make sure that I'm live in all the right places. All right, how is your Saturday morning going? At least I don't feel like I'm pulling you away from somewhere because it's a little dreary outside today. I had high hopes of being in the garden. I have my yard kind of mapped out. I've been shopping flowers and getting ideas, and I have a idea of what I want to do, and I've got my yard mapped out. Oh my goodness, I was like running. I'm totally panting here, so forgive me. But yeah, so I've got all my flowers. I've even got some that I have to keep bringing in every night so that they don't freeze. And let me put myself on mute. There we go. I'm not quite up to date, but say hi when you come on. I see a few of you are joining us. But yeah, so I've got flowers and stuff that I want to do, but it's kind of dreary out there. Good morning, Amy. Hello. So I can't go out there and plant right now, so I don't feel too bad like I'm drawing you away from the garden either. Are any of you gardeners, are you getting excited to plant? Maybe some of you saw my post about my tree, my beloved tree. I have been thinking about what tree I wanted to get for about 2 years now. So it's a big deal for me, a big deal. But we're not here to talk about gardening. So if this is your first time here, I want to say welcome. And even if it's not, welcome. You have found Sarah Lynn Stamps, or Sarah Lynn Duque with Sarah Lynn Stamps. And today we are going to talk about all things out of the new catalog. So this is the new, and I'm sorry that it's backwards for you, but this is the new annual catalog that just launched May the 4th. So I'm hoping that some of you have had a chance to kind of look through it. I know I have lists, and then I rewrite lists, and then I write some new lists. And so my list is ever evolving, and I've already made a couple orders off of there, but I hope you've had a chance to look through. And if you've shopped with me before, you would have received a catalog in the mail. And you should have received a catalog package as well, which included a bookmark of the new ink colors and some supplies to help you with your catalog shopping and perusing. And so I'm just really glad you're here today. Anyways, I am going to share two primary sweets today, Beauty of the Earth and Flowers of Friendship, or the Flowers of Friendship bundle. I guess it's not a sweet. And that's the plan, and I'm going to show you lots of other fun cards from other products and other stamp sets that are in the catalog today. That is the plan, and I don't know how you feel about some watercoloring. I know I promised a long time ago that I would talk and show you how to do some watercoloring. So today, I have a plan. I have a couple cards to show you with some really easy watercoloring, which is a lot of fun with some of our new sets. So I hope you're excited as I am. If there's something specific that you want to know about, leave it in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking as we go along. And I will try to pay attention to my computer that I had to run and get and keep up with your questions as well. So if I miss it, just ask again. Just keep poking and poking and I'll see it eventually. So let me flip you around so we can get started here. I've got lots of great things to show you today and I cannot wait. All right, so welcome to you all. Give me 1 second. I am going to flip you around. Hi, Auntie Pat. Who else is on here today? Say hello as I flip you around. Give me 1 moment. This is the awkward flip, so Flip you around. There we go. So did you all see this nice little ink thing that my mom made for me? Yeah, isn't it lovely? I'll show you that while I'm flipping you here. Okay, here we go. This is our new annual catalog, and you are here with Sarah Lynn Duque from Sarah Lynn Stamps, and today we are going to have our new catalog launch and Mystery Hostess event. So Mystery Hostess, what that means, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that, just means for all of the sales on today's event, one lucky person who makes every name for everyone that makes a purchase will go into a draw. And one of the lucky recipients will win the hostess benefits from this party. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the hostess benefits because it's extra special this month. We've got a super promotion on that you want to know about. All right, drink coffee, my friends. Get ready to go. All right, so here we are today at the launch party out of the new annual catalog. And I'm sure you've had a chance to go through this beauty, but let's take a quick look inside at some of the new things. So on the very first page here, well, page 3, it lists out all the suites. And for those of you who have been shopping with Stampin' Up for a while, you know that they combine their products into suites. So it's easy for you to combine and match the different products together. And you can see what they have purposely put as far as patterns and colors and things for you to combine together. So, and here they've actually listed out their suites in different sections. So if you're looking for a birthday suite, you're looking for one for the holidays, this is a Christmas suite, they have it all listed here for you. So it's easy for you to find what you want, as well as all of the other things, accessories, more information about the hostess and joining Stampin' Up is here as well. Now, the one thing that I do want to point out to you is the adhesives, because they have moved, and I tell you every time I look for them, I can't find them. They are all the way at the very back, and this is something that we need all the time on page 167. So it is right after all of the dies and before it starts kind of saying adios, where we get to the hostess and stuff. So right at the very back, you're going to find all of your adhesives. So mark that page. It's an important page that I can never find. Okay, so back to the suites. Here are all of our colors. I'm not going to go through this in depth today. One of the things you probably notice is missing is all of the kits. It does talk about that a little bit here. Stampin' Up is moving to a new model where they are going to kind of constantly be switching out their kits rather than having staple ones that are permanently part of the catalog. I have got ink all over my hands, so I promise you I do shower and I do wash on occasion. Just joking. Anyways, I didn't realize how messed up my hands were. Anyways, so the kits. So watch for that in June. June the 1st, I am, as a demonstrator, able to start pre-ordering some of the kits. In July, those come live for you. So there'll be more information coming out about that. There are some that are stamping kits, and these are all inclusive. So you're going to get your ink, your stamps, your paper, everything you need, your ideas to make cards or other projects, and you get to choose what kind of kit you want. And they're very reasonably priced. They start at, I think, at about $15 all the way up to $30, so you can really choose what you're looking for. And then there are some that are non-stamping kits as well. So that, more on that to come. Okay, so this is the beauty of the Earth Suite, and this is where we're going to start today. Isn't this just gorgeous? This is the one that caught my eye right off the bat. And I don't know why I don't have any tree sets up to this point. This is the first tree set that I have purchased and that I have played with, and it is gorgeous. So we are going to take some time to make a couple cards, and I'm going to show you a couple things out of this suite. So this is right at the beginning on page 10 if you want to look back. As a reminder, suites mean that they have combined everything that coordinates together into one package under one number if you want it all. If you don't want it all, you can purchase the bundle, which is the stamp set and the dies, or you can just purchase the stamp set or just the dies or just the paper. Any of the stuff can be purchased separately. They just combine it for you easily for easy shopping for your sake. So if you're looking at that, again, let me start on some projects here because that's what you all want to see, right? All right, let me show you the paper here. This is the beauty of the Earth paper, and that is what it's called, Designer Series paper. And you can see I've cut into it quite a bit, and it's really, really gorgeous. So we have this really nice tree bark, which is beautiful with the dies, as you'll see, for punching out the trunks and stuff. And then different pattern paper. We've got green, we've got fall colors, we've got, and this is really nice, like just to see this, if you cut this right down the middle and then into pieces, strips of 4, you'll get 6 card fronts out of this piece of paper. So this is a really nice how they've done that for you. They've just made it so you're not wasting anything, and it's all very usable and all very pretty. So I really like that. There's another piece of paper in here. Oh, let me show you this one first. Oh no, not that one. That one's really nice too, but that's not the one I wanted to show you. This one, wouldn't these make gorgeous Christmas cards, like without very much effort at all? Like you've got the background of the evergreen and the blues and the little snow-like falling pieces. Anyways, I can't wait to play with that a little bit closer to the holidays. But this is the one I wanted to show you. This card here, you can see they've got all these different strips of trees. And so if you just cut these into strips and cut them apart, you've got nice little pieces here for a whole bunch of cards in seconds. So I don't know if do I have one of those? No. This is a card someone else made. So they didn't quite do that. They used the strip of paper, but you could cut this out and then make a whole bunch of cards really quickly with the trees already on there. So even if you didn't have the stamp set, there's a lot that you can do with this paper. This paper is beautiful, but we're going to take a little bit of a closer look at that right now. Okay. The other things that come in that suite are the bark 3D embossing folder, and I actually haven't had a chance to open that and play with that yet. I'm going to see if I can turn this down and get some more light on my table for you guys. It looks a little dark in the camera. You guys see okay? All right. And the Beauty of Friendship stamp set. And this is the Beautiful Trees dies. So mine are all kind of messed up here. But there are 9 dies in here. You got some cute little birds. You've got a solid tree shape here and then a detailed tree shape, which we're going to use a lot today. And then a smaller tree. And then you've got small tree branches and a larger tree branches and a couple of labels here. So I've been playing with this quite a bit, and it makes stunning cards with and without the stamps, and I will show you that here right away as well. So again, these are the 3 things that are part of that suite, and then you've also got the paper. Okay, so before we get rolling on this, I am going to show you, we're going to take out our blending brush here and a piece of white cardstock. I have also cut out here with the dies from the Color and Contour die set. Now, if you watched my in color preview, you would have already seen this die cut in action. This is one of my new favorite, actually not out of the Scallop and Contour, my apologies, it's out of the basic border dies. So this basic border dies here have all of these different edges here that you can use for adding, you can cut the edge of your cardstock, you can use this for little borders on your cards, all sorts of different ideas. But it also has this sort of cloud-like edge here. And that's what I've used to just cut out a strip right here. And we're going to use this as a mask to create some clouds in the background of our sheet today. So I've got this, and I'm going to use Pool Party ink. So again, just push up here on the top. It'll pop it open nicely for you. And that way you're not getting too much ink all over your hands. And I apologize if I start to shake you a little bit, but my camera is on my table. So what we're going to do when you use your blending brushes, again, I have one blending brush for, say, each color family. So this one's kind of my blues and greens. I have one for reds and pinks and one's for yellows and oranges. And so far, that has done me well. In a pack, you get 3 in a pack. So that works out pretty good. And then as you decide you want more, you can grow from there. So I just swirl it on my ink pad, tap it off just so there's not really any harsh ink on there. And then I'm going to actually turn this around like this. So my clouds are up. And then I'm just going to swirl this over my mask, okay? And so I'm going to just keep adding ink. And you can see when I don't tap it off, you see that dark spot there? That's kind of what you get initially. So it works really well if you start off your page and then move on to your page and just keep adding color until you have as much as you want. Okay, so there you go. See, do you see how we're getting our nice cloud shape here? All right, so I am going to continue doing that. I'm going to turn my die just a little bit so that I get a different kind of cloud shape and I don't get the same cloud shapes all over. You kind of just got to place it a little bit. I'm going to move this over like that. And I'm going to just add a little bit more blue in here. And now to create more of a, instead of just a staggered or stacked cloud look, I'm going to turn this around and we're going to end up with more of a puffy cloud, a complete cloud here in this one spot. You'll see what I mean in a second. So we just keep taking this mask and we just keep turning it around and swirling. You can see I'm shaking you guys a little bit, so I'm sorry if you get seasick. And keep turning. So you can see here that here now we have a full cloud, a complete sort of puffy cloud, where here we've got more of the stacked cloud look. So both of those are really nice. And I think I'm going to just do a little tiny bit more just right over here. And again, you don't have to do a complete one across. I'm going to just kind of go like that so that it gives a look of some more blue. And I'd like a little bit of blue down here, so I'm going to just lightly add some down like that. All right, so you can add as much or as little as you like. You can completely fill this all with clouds, but I love this die set so much. These borders have been so fun to play with and they just make gorgeous backgrounds and you can use them in all sorts of different ways. So anyways, there is our cloud background. Now let me show you what we can do with this. I've got punched out a whole bunch of stuff here and I want to make sure I didn't miss any. And so from here, we can really take any of, I have punched out a whole bunch of trees. You can make any season. So here, if you wanted to have a winter card, you could use that. Just use the branches and then take these little splatter sets here and add a few snowflakes throughout. You could also use a little bit of more of a gray rather than a blue for your winter. But actually, I forgot to do one thing I wanted to show you. I'm going to show you how to put the ground on so we don't have a floating tree. Now this set is a photopolymer stamp set, which means that these are the clear stamps that just mount directly onto a block. So you have your clear block and it just mounts directly on just like that. You don't have any other setup or anything else required. And one of the nice things that I like that Stampin' Up! Has done this year is on the inside of their stamping inserts, they've actually printed all of the images from the stamp. So it just makes it really easy to put them back in here and to know that you have all of them and none are missing. So that I think is actually really, really helpful. So I am going to use this and I need my Mossy Meadow or Evening Evergreen. I wanted to use Mossy Meadow on this. Let's see, where's the Mossy Meadow? Mossy Meadow. This is the one I wanted to use, Mossy Meadow. So again, we're gonna just pop over here, pop it open and flip it. And we're going to just tap, tap, tap. And then I'm going to just stamp this a little bit off the edge. And you can kind of do some stamp off so you sort of get different colors. And I'm just adding a little bit of a ground here so that our trees aren't floating in the air. And I'll put a few full strength. You can see how just tapping, like stamping off, tapping on your paper and then stamping, it really adds a lot of kind of depth to your ground when you're doing that. So that's a really easy way to kind of add an extra layer of interest to your card. So now we've got the ground where the trees can sit and they're no longer floating in the air. And so let's go back to this. So if you put your tree on here, now you can have a winter card, add some snowflakes and whatnot. This is your summer card. And again, you could trade these all up. This is the large die cut. That's just a solid tree. And you could just stick that on your tree here. This is the detail piece that comes out and put that over top of your stem. Like, look at how beautiful that is. You could also stamp the images from the set and die cut those out. But I have just die cut these out straight out of the designer series paper. And I think all of the different colors in there really add some depth to your tree. So there's a summer tree for you. And we showed you the winter tree. You could also make a fall tree. So fall tree, I've cut out this really colorful paper here. And you can set that over top. You could cut a few other pieces and add them as blowing leaves, or you could use this same stamp set here and just put in maybe some Mary Merlot or one of the other colors in here and stamp those off like falling leaves. And then I've cut sort of the same shape. I punched out another one, and you can just add those to the bottom like a pile of leaves. So 1 or 2 or whatever you want to add. If you want a whole pile, however you want to do that. And now you've got a fall card. So again, you can play with the colors here, but it's just so helpful and so beautiful. All the different things you can do with this one die set and stamp set. Hi Tara and hi Joyce. I see there's a few more people joining us. I'm so glad you're here this morning. We are talking about the beauty of the Earth stamp set or suite that starts on page 10 in the catalog, and we're looking at how we can create a number of different cards with just really quickly with just changing up the die cuts out of the designer series paper. So which one did you like better out of those seasons? Do you have a preference as far as which tree you're drawn to? Just mark it there in the comments while I kind of move on here. I want to show you my final card. And if you can guess, I am doing a spring tree. So that is the one season I didn't show you yet, but I want to show you my final card. So just let me clean off my stamp here on the chamois. And if you didn't notice that, I have here my Stampin' chamois just in a regular size stamp case. So if you have an extra stamp case, or you can purchase these in packages of 4, and they're really nice for storing your embellishments, extra die cuts that you might have floating around, and also your simple chamois. It's just really handy. So if you don't have a chamois, you'll notice mine is all dark and all stained up. That is normal, that happens, but that doesn't transfer onto your hands. Well, this is not from the chamois, I promise you, or your stamps. It just kind of stains your chamois, so no need to worry about that. All right, so we've got that. Now let me show you my final card, like I said, which is a spring card. And here you go. So this is the one I made with the spring card. So the difference that I did is I only put on the front the green part instead of putting on the solid in the back like I did in the summer. Because in the summer the trees are kind of more full. In the spring they're just starting to show up. And then I stamped with that little splatter stamp just along the edges to kind of bring out the tree canopy a little bit. Now you could add flowers on here for the spring. You could also stamp this in pink if you want it to be a flowering tree. But I've added a bird straight out of the die set. Let me find the die set again. Straight out of the dies here, we have these little birds. So I have just punched those out in Bumblebee cardstock. And then I added a little eye with the black marker. And here in the corner, I stamped out of the stamp set. I stamped the background stamp. The same way as we did the ground, I stamped it off on a scrap piece of paper and stamped it on here. And then I used the detail stamp full strength over top. And just to add that, and I added a little bow. The sentiment is straight out of the set and punched out with a die cut out of the dies as well. So isn't that pretty and really easy? That wasn't hard. You guys watched me make it. You watched me make it. There's all sorts of different things that you can do very easily and quickly with this stamp set. All right, let me show you another card, and I promised you some watercoloring today. So that's what I want to do with you now. We are going to be using this Fluid 100 watercolor paper, and I have a piece right here, and I dropped my card. So I'm just going to bring that up. And so now what I am going to use is we're going to actually stamp. So we are going to be using our large stamps here, the large tree. We have one that is a detailed stamp, and I just go like this because I just find it easier. Let me get a block here, sorry. I just put the detail on one side, and on the other side, I put the background. But I've got both my stamps together. They both fit on the same block. I don't have to keep looking around for them. So I've got one on each side here. And this one just doesn't, there, seems to fit better that way. Okay, so we're going to use those. And now is when I am going to pull out the Evening Evergreen that I was talking about. Now the Evening Evergreen is one of the new in colors, and I will share those with you in just a moment here, all of the in colors. But we're going to use Evening Evergreen. Now there's a couple of ways that you can do this. And I just filled out my little spray bottle. Here it is. So these are the Stampin' Spritzers. They come in a pack of 2. And so I have one that I have water in, I have one that I have alcohol in for different techniques. And they're just really small and compact and just fit sort of in your pen holder. They're a great thing to have on hand, and they're very economical. So we're going to use this today with our watercolor paper. If you don't have watercolor paper, you can use the thick white. It does resist the water a little bit better than the regular white cardstock will, but I really recommend the watercolor paper when you're going to be using a lot of water. Okay, so we're going to give our paper just a little bit of a spray. Now, I'm not going to spray it too much because I just want to see, did I actually spray it? I don't know. Okay, it's kind of spraying all over the place for some reason. All right, I'm going to open the Evening Evergreen just like I did the other ones. We are going to take, we are going to use the background stamp here. And I'm going to stamp it in Evening Evergreen just by tapping it a little bit. And this is, I just want to show you this. Like, this is a detailed die. And look at how it just all by itself, I don't even know how they do this, but the dark portion has more ink and the background has less ink. I don't know how they do that, but it's going to create a nice detail on here just in one stamp. And so we stamp it onto the water paper, and that didn't work. And you know why? How many times do I say this to you, and I'm doing a poor job of this? When you're using photopolymer stamps, they don't have that cushion on them. So when you want to get a nice stamp, you're going to need to use a little bit of a cushion. So these are the old Stamparatus sponges, which they're no longer carrying anymore. But good news, they do have a new, it's called a, I'm gonna have to look it up. Something about a poke and something or other, Matt. All right, so anyways, let's try that again. So I'm gonna stamp this again, and I'm actually going to spray my stamp. So I've already sprayed my paper a little bit, but I'm gonna spray my stamp. So I'm gonna get a nice watercolor here. This is called easy watercoloring. We don't do anything too hard. And you're gonna just keep stamping the same stamp over and over until you don't have any ink left. Now you can see that I obviously got more water on the one side. That's okay. This is watercoloring. We don't care about that. All right, let's spray our stamp again. I'm gonna try not to get the water all in the same spot again so that we can do this a little bit differently. And we're gonna just keep stamping until we have as many trees as we want on our paper. And isn't that nice how when we do it, just keep going, we're getting sort of that automatic close and dark look. And you're probably thinking that's a mess, but you know what? It's watercoloring. It's gorgeous. Okay, and now for this other side, what we're going to do, now normally we would wait for this to dry a little bit, but we don't got time for that today. So I am going to take my Whisper White stamping pad. Now this is an old one, so it opens a little bit differently, but the new ones are the same as the other. And we are going to use our detailed die. And I'm going to stamp that on the white. And then I'm going to just stamp it over top of the green in a couple spots. And I don't want to, let me just dry this for a sec with my heat tool. So excuse me 1 second here. Just going to get this a little bit dry. Now the thing about watercoloring is when you do it, it doesn't look like much when you're actually doing the watercoloring or the stamping until you kind of get it all together. So don't be weary about this. Like, just give yourself a little bit of grace. And we're going to just add a few white spots. And you don't even necessarily really see them. But again, we're just adding a little bit of depth to our trees by adding the details here in the white. So you can kind of see the white over top. Do you see some of those details showing up there? Now I should be cleaning my stamp in between so I don't get my white all dirty, but we're doing fine. All right, so I've just added a little bit of white on top of my trees, and they didn't necessarily even line up. They are kind of in different spots, but they are giving the illusion of depth and different, you know how the evergreen trees are kind of have light and dark spots depending on the kind of tree that you have. Well, this kind of gives that effect. Now to finish this off, we are going to do a little bit of watercoloring in the sky, and in order to do that, we're going to use the water painters. I'm going to take my sponge out of here for now. We're going to use the water painters, and I'm going to pull out the pool party again. Again, you could use whichever color you like. I just happen to have ink already in here, so we're going to drop a little bit of water from our water painter just by squeezing it into our pool. I added some re-inker in here so that I've got a more saturated color palette. You can squeeze your pad as well to get a little bit of ink. And then we're going to just start adding some water in here. And so I'm not going up over my trees. I'm literally just pushing the water around, no rhyme or reason. And the more water you have, the more diluted your colors are going to be. But I just keep pushing it around to get my sky in here. And it's really nice that it's kind of got different gradients of color, because that makes it look like there's clouds, like it's a wispy, cool, breezy, I don't know, morning. We're just pushing the color around here, around our trees. And don't worry about coloring in all the spots, right? You don't want to go over your trees too much, because the water or the colors will start to blend. The ink will still run. Okay, so we've got our blue done, and I want to add just a touch of yellow to make it look like, just to give a little bit of interest in there. So again, I'm going to pick up some color with my wrench, and I'm going to just really strategically just place this kind of in between my trees, sort of where the sun would peek out over top of the trees. You see that? Like, this is not rocket science. It is super easy. Like with this water painter, you don't have to really worry about the amount of water you have. If you want more, you can always spray it again with your water sprayer, or you can just drip more by squishing your brush into the palette portion here of your stamp pad. So you just add as much or as little as you want, and you just keep going until you've got the colors that you like. So easy peasy, huh? Now look, you're all artists, and you can all paint yourself a little scene. So hopefully that's showing up really nicely in the camera for you guys as well. But I'm going to show you the finished card here. I'm not going to stamp the whole thing, but that is our watercolored portion. And then I just took that and I put that onto a card front, and I added a border here from the scalloped and contour set, the scallop contour dies. Just one of these scalloped borders here, I punched it out and made it like a little picture frame over top. And now I did stamp the birds, and it was my bad because I stamped it when it was still wet, and I should have waited. These birds, if you're wondering, are out of the Sailing Home stamp set, but you could also just take a marker and draw in a couple, you know, the little M's for the birds there too. So don't do what I do and stamp it while it's wet, but you get the idea. And I tore some designer series paper, that bark looking paper. I just tore it here to add a little bit of color in the corner. So yeah, a really easy watercolored card that takes you minutes and looks majestic. It looks like you work so hard and that you are an extreme artist, which you all are. So anyways, so this is where we went from here to here. Wasn't that fun? This is just such a fun way to watercolor, just by spritzing your stamp and adding a little bit of water to your paper. So let me remind you the cards here that we made today out of this set. We made this card here watercoloring, and then we made this one with the die cuts, and we had all the different seasons that we could make. And I'm going to show you a couple other cards that I received in the mail using this stamp set as well. So this is one that I received in the mail. This is just with the small trees that are stamped. And this one was made, sorry I dropped the name, this one was made by Christine. Just really pretty, and again, the designer series paper. This one I already showed you here. Again, designer series paper, and they've die cut out the tree. And I don't know if you can see that they've added some Wink Stella, the glitter brush, on top of here to give it a little bit of shimmer. And then the last one I have here is this one. And so this one is using the oval punch. And again, they've just stamped and die cut out the tree. They've done some blending in the background. And if you can see this, and the same thing here, that same one that we used for the ground can be used for a shadow for your tree. So if you've just got your tree, you can stamp that at the bottom to kind of ground your tree on your project. So it's not just kind of floating in the air. So that's the intent of that stamp. All right, so what do you guys think? Did you like that set? Did it catch your eye? Right, I have got more to share with you, so do not run away. I'm just going to try to move this stuff out of the way so I can move on to the next set. Give me 1 second here to clean this up. Okay, while I'm doing this, I do want to share with you a couple of promotions while you guys are watching and you're starting to think, yeah, I really love that. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself without telling you about a couple of ways you can save. So I am going to show you some more cards and some more projects. So just stay with me for a second while I run through this really quick. So there's a couple of promotions in May. One of them, we will come back to this one. One of them is the hosting. It's Connect, Craft, and Collect. So when you host an event, you know what? And hosting an event could be just you all by yourself. It could be you gathering a couple orders from friends, or it could be you hosting an event where you bring your friends together and virtually I will run you through something similar like we're doing today for you and your friends. And we will make something together. I will send you a card kit in the mail that we can make together. There's no cost to you, but you get benefits as a hostess, as coordinating that from me. So how that works is our regular hostess benefits start at $200. So if your order is $200 or you have a group of friends that want to order, you get 10% of whatever amount that is back in Stampin' Rewards. You can choose whatever you like out of the catalog. At $300, it's still 10%, but this month, starting at $300, you're getting an additional $30. So when you hit the $300 mark, you're going to get the $30 for 10% plus $30. You're getting $60 in free hostess benefits. So this is a great month to think about whether you need to stockpile of things, have a long list, you're going to benefit, whether it's just your order, you will get these same rewards, or whether you want to bring some friends in and really try to cash in and get the most out of your event, you can do that as well. Once you hit the $550 mark, you also get 150% off item. And this applies to the mini Stampin' cut and emboss machine. So if you've had your eye on that, you can also get that at 50% off as your hostess benefits. And some of the things, there's some really nice hostess sets in the catalog. And what I mean by that, they're exclusive to hostesses. So at the very back, like I said, after the adhesive, you are going to find the hostess benefit. So there are a couple stamp sets, 3 stamp sets here, and 48 sheets of designer series paper that only hostesses can use their hostess benefits to purchase at a very reduced rate. $24 for 48 sheets of double-sided designer series paper. So, I mean, it's just awesome. Anyways, that's something for you to consider, whether you do that on your own or as a group with your friends. And this runs until June the 14th. So I only have a couple dates left on my calendar to host events. So if you are interested in doing that, please just let me know so that we can find a time that will work for you sooner than later. So that is until June the 14th. The other option here, which is really always the best way to save, is the Stampin' Up! Starter Kit. And I know you're thinking, well, maybe you're thinking, maybe you're not thinking, whether or not you're thinking that you want to have this as a business income, this is a great way to save. So if your list is up towards the $135 mark, which is the price of the starter kit, you want to consider this. This is for hobby demos, this is for business demos, this is for everybody in between who has a long list of things they want. So at $135, you pay $135. This month, you get $206 in product. So normally you get $165, which is still a great deal. This month, you get $206 of anything you want out of the catalog. You also get free shipping, and you don't pay GST. So when you work out all the numbers, you're saving about 50% on your order. So this is a really great way to save. If your order is coming even close to the $135 mark, you want to consider this, and I can help you with that. So just reach out to me and we can talk a little bit more about what that means. And then you would get 20% off of all of your personal orders moving forward as long as your demonstratorship is active. So something to consider. Again, $135 for the starter kit, $206 worth of product, or throw an event and get an extra $30 in hostess benefits this month. So when you reach the $300 mark. Lots of good things going on. So I don't want you to forget about that, and I want you to think about that as you're creating your list and watching me ramble on about all the fun stuff we have today. Okay, we are going to move on to this gorgeous Flowers of Friendship bundle. Now this is a gorgeous bundle, and I will show you why. This can be found in the catalog on page 78, and this is the bundle down here. You save 10% when you purchase the stamp set and the punch together, and the bundle number is down here for you. It's $47.50 for both of these items. So this is really great if you don't have a die cutting machine. This allows you to punch out some different images to layer onto your cards. It's really nice. And I'll show you all the different things that this punch is going to be able to do for you. So before we get to that, I want to show you this stamp set. So this stamp set is different than the last one. This one is a cling mount stamp set. So what that means, it comes with all these little pieces inside of this rubber piece. And it has sort of an already built-in sponge. So it makes a really nice, clean stamp without having to have an extra sort of cushion underneath. And again, if you don't have a cushion, like I had this little mat, don't worry, just add a little stack of paper, a catalog, something that's just going to give your stamp a little bit of wiggle room when you're stamping. But these are gorgeous because you don't have that problem. So I wanted to show you what to do with them. So first you're going to punch them out when you receive them. Just like this, they just kind of rip out, and then you get this sticker sheet, and on one side of the stickers, I want to make sure I get the right one, they have a break in the paper. You're going to just peel these off, and I'm making it look much harder than it is, I promise you. You're going to peel off the backing on there, and there's a backing on your stamp. You're going to peel off the backing on there, and then you're going to just take this, and the outline of where that paper came out matches exactly with your stamp. So you're going to just lay your stamp right in that hole where you took that piece of the backing off. And then it just pulls off. And now you've got your sticker onto the back of your stamp to make it really easy for stamping. So I have almost completed the sheet here. But that's what you're going to do when you receive your cling mount stamps. That's how you mount them and get them ready to use. And then you just do the same thing where you just take them and mount them onto your block. So let's get started with, again, I promised you watercoloring today. So let's watercolor it up today. And this one, we're just going to use regular cardstock for. I'm going to make sure that I have the right piece. We're just going to use regular cardstock for. And we are going to use this block. So this is the H block. And it's just a really nice size because it fits onto a card front for this technique. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the markers. So these are all the new in color markers. They come in a set of 5. And I did tell you I would show you the in colors. Remind me to do that if I forget. Okay, although you could go back and watch my in color video as well. So I'm going to take this new purple, which is Fresh Freesia. And I'm going to just randomly color, and you're not going to be able to see it probably very well, but I am just coloring with the brush end on my block, just like this. And then I'm going to add a little bit of the polished pink. You don't have to have any rhyme or reason of where you're putting the colors, just randomly put in some blocks of color. And because this is my favorite, I am going to add some pale papaya. I love this color. Did you guys do the quiz that I posted that said, what is your in color? That was a fun little quiz. I came back as soft succulent, and I won't lie, I was a little sad. I was hoping to be a pale papaya. But I saw someone else with pale papaya, and it said, you're an outgoing extrovert. I was like, oh yeah, I get it. I see why I'm not. So, anyways, it's just all fun. So go back and find that on my page. It was a lot of fun. So now we've got this marker on this block, and we're going to take our Stampin' Spritzer again, and we are going to just spritz our block just like this. And depending on how much you spritz it, you could spritz it less, you could spritz it more. Will depend how it looks on your paper. Now see how it's just, you can see it just spreading out there as I leave the block on. So I'm just going to leave it there for a sec to allow the water to kind of soak into the paper and spread out. So when you pull this out, you've got a nice little watercolored background there. Isn't that fun and easy? And so we will just let this dry. I am going to use Stays On ink, which is the ink you should use for watercoloring because it doesn't bleed. This is an alcohol-based ink, so you don't want to use this with your alcohol markers, your blends, but you want to use this with watercoloring. So we're going to use the Stays On today, and it comes just like so. And we're going to take out the big flower stamp set here. And put it on our block. And because this is kind of a large stamp, I'm going to just, you know what, I forgot. We want to mask off our flowers here. And I'll show you why in a minute. But so what we're going to do here is we're going to just take a little bit of, you could use masking tape. This is painter's tape. You could use a Post-it note. and I just want to cover up the flower parts. I don't want to stamp the flowers. I just want to stamp the stems. So I'm going to just cover these up like that. And this is called masking. And I see a little tiny corner of the stamp peeking out over here. So we're going to cover that up too. All right. Then we're going to take our stamp set, or our ink pad, sorry, our StazOn ink. And I'm going to just go like this. Now this is a nice juicy pad, so it's getting really good coverage here. And then I'm just going to stamp this just like this over top of, oh, I do this every time. Don't do that. You're supposed to take the paper off, the tape off before you stamp. Okay, you know what? We're going to just do that again because we got to do it right, people. All right, we'll do this again. This is really fast. You saw how fast it was. Let's color up our block. Take the tape off this time and we'll be good to go. You guys, this is like everything not to do 101. So I'm glad you're here. You can see this is the way it works. So don't get frustrated when things don't work exactly right. We all make mistakes and we all make errors. So I'm just going to spray this again here off to the side because I got a lot going here on my tabletop. And I'm going to put this back on. Leave that for a second. Yeah, right, Amy? My pale papaya. Yeah. I tried really hard to make some projects with that today. And again, you can see I didn't quite add as much ink as I did before, but that's okay. Now I'm rushing. But these other colors kind of stole the show. So this is what you do. You ink it up and then you take off the tape, people. Or whatever you have masking, take it off. Or you're going to just stamp it onto your paper. I'm going to just throw that away before I get it everywhere. And then we are going to take this and we're going to stamp it like this. So it's over top of our watercolor block and going off the edge. And so you can see now we don't have the flowers on there. And I want to show you why. So the nice punch that we get with this is so beautiful. I'm running out of room. Let me just move some of this stuff out of the way quick here. So going back to this punch, one of the things that you can do is punch yourself out a stencil. So this is just a sticky note. I've gone ahead and on the back you have a lever. Open your lever and then you're going to punch it out here so that you have a little bit of a stencil. And the reason you do that is so that when you go to stamp it, you can line it up with your stencil and then have it ready to punch. And you don't have to. If you want to just have a flower, you can just put that on a little scrap. But this works really well, especially if you're going to be punching out a whole bunch of stuff. And then I have taken my Stamparatus and I have, well, partially, I just laid down my stencil like this, for example, and then I took my images and I laid them into my stencil like this. Now mine are really sticky still because they're new, so they like to stick to my fingers instead of stay where they're supposed to be. Right? So I lined it up with my stencil, and you could do the same with the leaves. Again, it's sticking to my fingers. And we're going to stick this one in here too. Okay, so now we have all of our stuff in our template, and we're going to close the lid of our Stamparatus. And now we've got all of our images stuck onto our Stamparatus so that they're right going to line up with the punch when we go to stamp them out. All right, I just want to clean off my stamp that has the StazOn because it, you know, StazOn likes to stays on. So I'm going to just try to clean it up before it dries too much. I think I kind of missed my window. Okay. Anyways, what we're going to do now is we are going to stamp some flowers that we're going to punch out and add to our card. So we're going to just take some fresh freesia. And I didn't keep any out, so I guess we're going to use this purple. It really doesn't matter. I'll show you my final card after. I was going to use fresh freesia, but I don't have a scrap out somewhere right now. Memento ink. We are going to just stamp this up with ink, and you could use the same color as your cardstock, or I'm using here Memento ink, and we're going to just, I'm going to cut this down a little so I don't waste so much paper. you know me and wasting paper. There's nothing that I dislike more. I'm like a paper hoarder, so. All right, so let's just put that like that. And we're gonna just stamp this down. Now I'm just going for the flower, so it really doesn't matter too much about the leaves, but we stamped it down. The really nice thing about the Stamparatus is that if for some reason you stamp and you don't get a clear image, you can just put it right back down. Or you could just make like 500 of these at once. Take this out, put it in your next paper, put it in your next paper, and make a whole bunch of stamps in seconds. So then you would take your punch here, and I like to do it upside down because you can see where you're punching and you can see where your image is. And mine's a little long for my punch, so we're going to just cut this off. And we're going to just slide this in here until it lines up. So see, because we had our stencil, we can quite easily just line up all the different images. Now, I don't know why you'd want purple leaves, but you know, if you're doing white or you're watercoloring or something and you wanted to punch them out, you would have them all here on one sheet. Or if you're punching it out of designer series paper, right, I'm just trying to line this up. Okay. It just keeps wiggling here on me because I am on camera. Anyways, you're going to line this up and you're going to just punch it out like this. And so you could just keep pumping them out. You could just keep stamping, punching, and you've got a really easy method of doing that because you've got all of your stamps already lined up. And so then what we're going to do is with dimensionals, we would just add these flowers and I'd punch out one more onto our card front. Now let me show you the finished card that I made with this. So this is the one with the fresh freesia that I was talking about. So the fresh freesia, and I watercolored here with the block, just like I showed you. I just added a little bit more color. The reason ours has less color is because the block was already wet when I started coloring on it. So if I would have dried the block first, then it would have held more ink before I sprayed it. So so that's how you can do that. And you can use any of your blocks, any shape that you might have if you want a square in the middle. But then I stamped the flowers, punched out stamped the leaves, punched out my flowers, added them on with dimensionals, and these are those gorgeous in color jewels, which I am so sad to say are not currently available. They already sold out. With the shipping crisis, you know, the global shipping crisis that's going on, Stampin' Up! Only got a limited amount in stock with their first order for shipment. And so they've already sold out, but there are more coming. But these things are gorgeous. You could substitute these with any other sparkly, glittery embellishment that we have. We have lots. Believe me, I know. I'm the glitter queen. All right, so I added the same coordinating purple fresh freesia dots on there, and then I just punched in the corner and layered it onto the front with some black onto a fresh freesia. So really, really easy, really pretty and fun card that you can put together pretty effortlessly. And if you're into making a whole bunch, like I know some of you are, you know who you are, this is a really great way to do that as well with your Stamparatus and your punch. Okay, so let's move on to, I want to show you what you can do with all of the different, to make a whole bunch of different flowers. All right, so I have punched out, my mat is really dirty here, so I apologize for that. I have punched out a couple of different flowers. And so just to give you some ideas of how you can pair these together. So this is the large one. You could take these and offset them, and now you've got a double flower like that. You could layer a small one on top of the big one. You could even layer them so they line up like this if you just wanted to add another dimension. You can do the same thing with the small flowers if you're looking for a larger or a different type of flower. The other thing I wanted to show you, let me just stamp this again so that I can show you. Actually, we're going to make a card with this. Let me show you another one, another card, and it's going to just give you the idea of what else, how else you can layer these flowers so that they match up with these gorgeous styles. Okay, so we're going to do that. Let me show you a card that I made. But there's a number of different ways that you can use these. And actually, you can even use your leaves here and just kind of layer them around in a circle for flowers as well. So there's a lot of different ways to use these, not just alone. All right, let's get our other cards out here. So for this card, I have a piece of thick Whisper White cardstock for the background. And then I've got some designer series paper from the new, what is that called? I have it here for you. It's from the Hand Pen Suite, and it's called Hand Pen Designer Series paper. And it's in all these really fun spring kind of soft colors with all these nice floral designs. And then on the background, it's got sort of a watercolored washed out pattern sort of look. And all these gorgeous light colors like the purples. And so if you're into subtles, and the new in colors, this is here, soft succulent. Well, actually, I think it's mint macaron, but it goes with the soft succulent and the pale papaya. This is something that you're going to love. So that has some designer series paper out of that set here, a couple of different pieces. And then I've got some scraps as well, so we can punch out some more flowers. All right, but before we get to that, let's stamp our flowers. We are going to take this stamp set here, and we are going to use Memento ink, and we're going to just stamp this multiple times on our card front. So this card front here measures 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And we are going to just put one kind of right here in the middle that's a little bit higher up like that. And we're going to just do this a couple times. And we're going to put one that's down here. I might have put that one a little bit too low actually, but I guess we'll find out. Okay, there, we've got our images stamped up here. And now I'm going to go back to my Stamparatus because I am going to punch out, and I'm going to just cut this down because I know it's going to be too big. We're going to punch out some flowers. Okay, so we get out our Stamparatus that we've already lined up with our template, and I want to punch out some flowers, and that's going to work perfectly. Using my Memento ink, I'm going to ink this up. I'm going to stamp it down, and then I am going to flip it around, and I'm going to do the same over here. Now, I'm not worried about the leaves, so I am going to just make sure I get the flowers. And I'm just going to stamp a couple of those. Make sure I got all my paper. And you do get magnets with your set here, so you can hold down your paper, but you know, I like to do everything the hard way. It just keeps kind of moving on me. Okay, stop moving. There we go. Okay, stamp our flowers. And now we're going to take our punch and punch these out. And I'm going to show you how to make those other flower styles. Okay, so we've got this. We're going to just take this in here. Line it up and punch it out. And then I'm going to turn it around and do the same. So you saw how helpful the Stamparatus was there. I could just leave my stamps all lined up, turn them around, and get some more flowers here. Okay. So again, this is Pale Papaya. This is one of the new ink colors again. And we are going to be making flowers to go on our card up here. So the way that this works is really with just some simple dissection. So if we cut this, the larger flower, just kind of in half, like this, it matches up with the bottom of this flower. Now we just need another piece. And I know that Dorothy, if Dorothy's on here or not, is going to love this because Dorothy doesn't like to color. She's told me that many times. So you could also just color these with blends. You could still color a piece of white or even color on top of this dark paper if you wanted to, but you don't have to. You can just stamp right on colored cardstock or designer series paper and punch it out. And there we go. See, we have that flower like that. So let's adhere that. I'm going to just use some white glue. This is the Tombow multi-purpose glue, and the reason that I like this for the small pieces is because you can kind of move it around if you need to before it kind of settles in, if you get it in the wrong spot or whatever. Some of the other adhesive is a little bit more permanent, so once you put it down, it's a little bit harder to move. So I'm going to just stick that on like that and like that. And now we've got one flower. So let's do the little ones. We're going to do these little flowers here as well. So these are a little bit different because you have to actually dissect the 3 leaves to put them on the card front here. So we're going to just kind of cut around our stamped images a little bit. So this is your middle one here. And then for the side ones, you just take your piece, and actually, you know what? I think that this might actually fit better. I'm going to just cut this out. I did this with the small one before, and I didn't feel like it, on the sides, it fit quite right. And I think I just figured out why, because you can use a big one. There, use the same big one. That was my problem. Use the big flower, people. Use the big flower. And then for the sides, we're going to just take another one of the stamped images, and we're going to just cut it in half. Okay, so it does take a little bit of dissection here, but it's not hard. I mean, you could put 2 underneath as well, but you don't need to. So see, we're going to just stick that in there, and then we're going to layer this one on top. Okay, so let me just get this stuff out of the way here. Actually, I've got another flower to do, don't I? And we'll do that one more time on the other side, and then we're going to cut this in half for the sides. Okay. So I'm going to just add it to my flower like so, and place these on top. So we've got one there, and one there, and this one's going to go over top. It needs a little more glue. And then we're going to do the same with the other side. So I'm going to put my half a petal on the sides. And you could trim these down so they're a little bit more, not quite so messy, but since I've got you here, we'll just go with it. So we have got our 3 flowers. You could also punch out the leaves and do the same thing. I'm only going to do this on one of the flowers. I want it to kind of be the highlight of the card. And now what we're going to do is we are going to add in our designer series paper. So I have steel somewhere. Here it is. I'm going to use my steel tape runner. I'm going to just add some to the back here. Put this at the bottom of the card. So our flowers are just kind of peeping out the top. And then we are going to take this and add it to the black. So the black measures 3 7/8 by, is that right? 3 7/8 by 4. What is that? Let me look that up again. Measures 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. I knew something wasn't quite right. We're going to fold our cardstock. Again, this is the thick white, and it just measured 8.5 by 5.5. Take our bone folder and give it a nice little crisp edge here. We're going to adhere this piece of designer series paper from that hand pen designer series paper. We're going to just take this and put this directly on the front. We're going to cover up the whole card front with this. And then I'm going to add this on here once I add some twine. So I'm going to wrap some twine around this piece here. And just tie it in a bow over here. And I love this twine because, I mean, I love the curliness of it. Some people don't. And if you don't like it, you can just take your fingernail and just pull it along here and it'll straighten it out for you if you're having some trouble with the curl in the linen thread. But I love the linen thread and I love the curliness of it. So as you know, always when you tie it, in my experience, it's sometimes a little bit loose. I'm not the best at tying. So I just add a little bit of adhesive to the back and pull it tight so that on the front it's nice and tight and all the extra thread is on the back. See? And you can't even tell. So let's just trim this down. Now we have our little bow here. And we are going to adhere this with dimensionals to the front of the card. So usually I just stick one over the ribbon there to kind of give it a little bit of an extra hold. And you also want to have one in the middle so that the middle of your card isn't saggy when you're going to be lifting it up. Dimensionals are just a really great, easy, cost-effective way to add a little bit of dimension and interest to your cards. So if you're not using them in your card making, I highly recommend that you do. And we didn't add a sentiment. Let's do that, even though I've already put my card together. Let's take this Many Thanks from All of Us stamp. Normally you would do this before you put your card together, but today we are just winging it. And we're going to take this, and again, we're going to use the Memento ink. So I'm going to just tap, tap, tap. Okay. If you push too much, you're going to get ink all around your rubber, and then you're going to start having that show up on your card. So I'm going to just stamp that down here. And I just gotta get that out of the way. See, I kind of, because I have this already layered up, I have a little bit too much cushion. So I got a little bit of a halo there on my stamp, but that won't happen if you stamp it before you put it together. So anyways, there is our other card made with the flowers of friendship. And that's how you put these types of flowers together with that same punch, just with some simple dissection. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use that punch and stamp set to make beautiful cards. I love the colors in this card, don't you? The pale papaya, like, hello. It is totally my favorite. What do you guys think? You guys got a favorite? Let me show you the other in colors. If you missed my in color preview, you can go back and watch it. It's available on my page forever. So just go ahead and go back and look at that. We just clear up a little bit of space here. And you can have a little bit more in-depth look at the in colors and a few projects that I made with that as well. So we have Pale Papaya, and you can get stamp pads, cardstock, markers, embellishments, ribbon, Stampin' blends, designer series paper. All the things come in these colors. So everything you need to coordinate is there. This is the Fresh Freesia that we used today on one of our cards. We have Polished Pink, which is a really beautiful sort of a really feminine, pretty pink, I think. Evening Evergreen, I also really love this color. I think we don't have anything like this. This is sort of like a hunter green, and it's gorgeous. And then the Soft Succulent. So these are the 5 ink colors that came in with the new catalog that you all are going to fall in love with and want to get your hands on. So that's just a quick overview. But again, go back and watch my video that has all of the different stamp sets in there. All of the different colors, and projects. All right, here's another card made with that same stamp set that we just used, the Flowers of Friendship and the punch. This is a designer series paper that I told you was exclusive to the Hostesses. And here's that gorgeous ribbon in the Pale Papaya. Hello, Pale Papaya. This was made by my friend Lindsay. Absolutely love it. And again, with these are the Genial Gems, I believe, here in the center, and they're just super sparkly. And actually today, for our door prize, I'm going to do a draw for a package of the Genial Gems. So stay tuned for that at the end. These are the cards that I showed in the in color preview, and this was made with the color and contour set. So if you love what you're seeing here, I'm not going to go into it today, but go back and watch that video. So this is the same card in all of the different in colors here. And this is the one with those gorgeous scalloped die cuts and the different borders here. The same one that we used for the frame. This is the set that coordinates with that. So these all go together. It's a really fun, beautiful, easy stamp set, but the dies really make it. These dies, yes, I need the dies. I got the dies. Anyway, so that's this. Those are the color and contour, and I have a few more cards from that set that I've got, I think, since the in color video that I wanted to show you. So this is this one here, more of the blacks and the crumb cake card. I love that. And here's this other label. So all of the labels are scalloped and they all have sort of a different inside on them. This one has sort of a dotted edge. This one has the big punch stitched, I don't know, the holes along the side. They're all a little bit different. Then here, you can see here a little bit better. This one has sort of more like a stitch sewing machine line, and this one has really fine dots all around the edge. So all of them look a little bit different. And here's a designer series paper in this polished pink color. Fun. Look at this fun little fold here. Cute, hey? All right, and again, so this came from, let me see, I don't have the name here. And this one was made by Jamie Lodge. Isn't that pretty? Yeah, really pretty. Okay, let's see what else we got going on here. Here is another set that is new in the catalog called the Party Puffins. And you've probably seen me posting lots of cards. I'm not going to show you how to make cards today with it, but I am going to show you some cards that I made. So this is a really fun, basic birthday card that I made for one of my daughter's friends. And this one here, again, uses that cloud set, the cloud die. I've cut out 2 and just layered it on top for these happy party penguins. Like, these guys are the cutest. Now, if you really want to get a saturated black, you can see here that you get like a nice solid black with the stamp pad with either a StazOn or Memento ink. But use your black Stampin' blend and color that in, and you get a really dark black, which is a really nice contrast to your cards. And this one here is another one I made. This is a painted texture embossing folder, just cut out with a little window to see this little party guy. So these are just colored with the Stampin' Write markers, actually. Yeah, so lots of fun with the party penguins, and I think they're a blast. I'll just show you a few more cards. This is from the Quiet Meadow stamp set, so it also has a coordinating die set that goes with it. And I don't know if I have any more from, oh yeah, I have another one from that same set here. And this black paper here in the background, again, is from the Hostess set. On one side, it has really bright, colorful patterns, and the other side is black and white patterns. So lots of different things for different occasions. This is embossed here in black, which is new. We didn't have black embossing powder before. So now we have it in black, and we also have it in copper, which I'm not sure we had before. But anyway, so there are a few new things with that. This is from the hand pen suite. You see the designer series paper that we used. And then this is the new flower and the genial gems here. Not the new flower. This is a flower from the hand penned stamp set, coordinating with that paper. Now this is another tree set. And I can't quite remember. If you know what the name of it is, just put it in the comments. I can't quite remember myself what the name of that is. Anybody know what that's called? Anyways, it's another set. These 4 trees are on one long piece of ground, I guess, attached to it. And then it has some canopy pieces that you can punch out. So this one here, they've masked off the back, the sun, similarly like we did for the flowers. Or for the clouds, and then they have used their blending brushes to create this beautiful silhouette. Nice, hey? You could do that same thing with the stamp set with the Beauty of the Earth. It would just look a little bit different. This is one called Etched in Nature that I made for a card swap. Now, unfortunately, the stamp set is not currently available because they are fine-tuning. Some of the detailed stamps were not stamping the way that they wanted them to, so they are reworking that. But this is a really fun stamp set, and there are some other nice sort of sketched stamp set similar to that in our catalog this year. Here we've got again the hand penned designer series paper and the Butterfly Brilliance stamp set that they have used their sponges for watercolored. They might have punched that out of, I don't know if they watercolored it or punched it out of designer series paper. I'm not sure. Now this is another one that is really popular, which I don't have. This is the Pansies something or other. The Pansy something or other. And so they have punched out the pansies from the coordinating designer series paper in this one, or there are dies that you can punch out pansies as well and make all sorts of beautiful flowers with, and there's a coordinating designer series paper. This is just done with the stamps directly on the paper, and then they put Wink of Stella, the glitter brush, over top of the flowers. And this one here is just really simple but beautiful. I don't know if you can see, this is with the evergreen embossing folder. And then they've just added an oval sentiment on here. And it just makes a really nice card. This would be a really fun and fast Christmas card also. And this one here is super fun. This is the new tie-dye background stamp. And they put that over top of the, I I don't know what this is called. What is this called? Shimmer paper. I'm not sure. It's really sparkly paper in all sorts of different color gradients. So those are some cards I wanted to share with you. Let me just show you one more time the cards that we made today. So we have this watercolored stamp and these trees. We also created this card here with the punched out flowers and the watercolor block stamping. And then we have this one here where we learned how to put together different style of flowers from the same punch. So much that you can do. I hope that you had a nice time here, enjoyed stamping along. I do want to remind you just one more time about the specials that are on. So remember, Hostesses, extra $30 when your event reaches $300. So this is whether this is just your order, an order with a group of friends, or whether you want to actually host an event. I do have some time, a couple of dates left on my calendar before June the 14th for you to take advantage of that. Or again, if your order is reaching the $135 mark, talk to me about the starter kit. You can get $206 worth of product, no shipping, no GST, for $135 until the end of May. So this runs until May 31st. So if your list is getting long, this is something for you to consider. Please just let me know. I can help you with your decisions, help you to understand the benefits for that. With your starter kit, you're also getting the opportunity to have 20% off on your future orders. So this is for hobbyists. This is for people looking to do business. This is for all of the above. So please take advantage of that. Let me also remind you one last time about Wednesdays, our Cards and Coffee every Wednesday at noon. I come on and we do a really quick and fun lunchtime card together at noon-ish. It's supposed to be at noon. Sometimes I'm a minute late like today. So I hope you enjoyed that. Shop at SarahLynnStamps.stampinup.net, and anyone that puts in an order using this host code, and it is in the comments, will be entered for a chance to be the mystery hostess and get the rewards from all the orders from placed on this event. So if you're interested in that, make sure you use this host code. If you have any trouble with that, let me know. This host code is in the comments for you to take a look at, or if you forget, as well as the shopping link. So everything is in there for you, a description of the promotions as well. So now if you are here, I am going to pull up the Wheel of Names, and we are going to do our draw for our door prize, which is, again, those genial gems. So let me just pull up the Wheel of Names here. And if you are here, just put your name in the comments and I will add you to the draw. Let me just flip you around again here so you guys can all see what we're drawing for here. If your mom's here, Debbie, oopsies. Wow, that was scary. That was a lot of me just all of a sudden, horror movie style. Just put your mom's name in the comments here and I will add her to our set my chair on top of my heat tool. That didn't work out so well. I will add her name to our draw. Okay, so we have, who wants in on the draw? Put your name in the comments here and I will add it to my Wheel of Names. Okay, so Dorothy is here. Who else is in? Okay, Dorothy. I know there's more of you here. Put your names in and I'll add you to the draw. Nobody wants, oh, Debbie. I think that my computer is a little bit behind. So if I'm sitting here staring at you, if you're watching the replay, that's what's going on. Joyce, welcome Joyce. I'm glad you could join us today. Who else is here? Donna. The 3Ds, Dorothy, Debbie, and Donna. My dependable threesome is here. Debbie, Donna, and Dorothy, and Joyce. Who else do I have here? I know there's a couple more of you on. Auntie Pat, are you still hanging out? I have 5 names. I put Auntie Pat, I put your name in here. I can see your picture. I think there's a couple more of you on here, so if you'd like to be in the draw, let me know. Just a couple more minutes here, a couple more seconds, not minutes, sorry. Maybe 30 more seconds if you're on. Just put your name in the comments and I will add you to our door prize draw. So My stomach is growling. How about yours? I think it's time to go get some lunch. So I like to wrap it up with you guys. I'm so glad you guys came on here today. It's so nice to stamp with you. I really enjoy sharing with you and spending time with you, and so it just really warms my heart when you're here. If you've enjoyed this video, I just ask if you want to share it with your friends, to share it onto your page so other people can enjoy the crafting along with you. Maybe you'll find some people out in the woodwork that you didn't know were there who want to stamp along with you. But if you want to share this with your friends, I would love that. And if you invited a friend to come with you today, just leave that in the comments as well. Mom, you're here just in time for the draw. Pauline is in the draw. Anyone else that I've missed here? We've got Dorothy, Debbie, Joyce, Donna, Pat, and Pauline. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It says there's 7 of you, so maybe Amy is just hanging out there too, but we will do our draw. Let me flip you around here again, and just to wrap it up, I will do our draw. All right, so this is the Wheel of Names. I've got you all in here, and I am going to click to see who the winner of the Genial Gems is. Natty Pie, you can't be so shy. You're allowed to win too. Donna! I just kind of giggled because Donna actually she was at another event and she just won at the other event. So Donna, I have 2 surprises on their way to you. So lucky, lucky, winner, winner, chicken dinner. Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna not cover up the camera to say thank you all for joining me. I am so glad that you chose to come on here today and spend a little time with me. If you're watching the replay, equally awesome. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful Saturday. I hope we get out in the garden a little bit and enjoy some sun. But always, happy stamping. Have a great week. If you have any questions at all about the products you've seen today, or if you need some help making those projects, I'd be happy to help you with that too. So please reach out anytime. You know where to find me, Sarah Lynn Stamps, on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Happy stamping.